So I'm officially recording this conference. It is May 7th at 10:38. I am late as usual, but that's okay. Welcome everybody. So we're going to begin perhaps with a little mini introduction again, but I'm going to allow you each to speak a little bit about what you've done since the last time I saw you. So I think an interesting way to introduce you is to tell you what I remember about you as a student, and then you can tell me if that is the same personality or if you have changed and what you've become. So we're going to start with Charlotte Maty up at the top. Charlotte, a very quiet, very shy student, I remember. Always smiling, but always worried. I do remember that. And with an interest in languages, but an interest in a lot of different things. So not particularly an English lover. I remember you as kind of the projects you were like, oh no, another project. What am I going to do? And little by little, you kept your smile. So Charlotte, tell us about your kind of amazing and surprising story. What have you done since, and are you the same?
I'm a little bit less shy and quiet, I think, and worried because after my school, I went 3 years in a school to study kindergarten teacher. I succeeded, and then I worked 1 year in daycare. And after this, I wanted so much to travel, so I went to New Zealand for a year with the working holiday visa. And
Okay. Let's back up here. I heard kindergarten teacher. Is that licence de sciences de l'éducation? Is that what that is?
No, it's in French. It's éducateur de jeunes enfants.
Okay. So Joanie is also one of my students who's interested in that. I'm going to put on the site in the chat some of these keywords. So éducateur de jeunes enfants, and then you said New Zealand, here I come.
Yeah, I went to spend a year in New Zealand with a working holiday visa. I worked there, traveled a lot, and done some farm works like woofing. And then I came back just 1 month and went to Asia for 6 months to travel again and discover this other part of the world.
So
and
wait, I just I love the sequence here. It's New Zealand to Asia, and can I just say, where in Asia did you go?
I went to a dozen of countries, I think. I went to Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Myanmar, Cambodia, the other part of Malaysia, which is an island, Borneo, then Indonesia on several islands, Philippines, Shanghai, and that's it. It's not a dozen, no, it's like tens. I don't know, I don't count them.
So you clearly have come out of your shell if you are woofing, which is living and working with a family but not paid. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's World Organization for Organic Farming.
Okay.
It's a process where you live in a family, you work for them a few hours a day, like 4 hours per day, and you have your weekend off, and you the accommodation and the food, and so you help them, and they teach you a lot, and you learn a lot, and yeah, it's good exchange.
That I'm sure my students are going to have questions about the family and about the farming, maybe. Interesting. So after Asia, what did you do? You're just saying the world is my oyster, I'm going to discover everything?
Kind of. After Asia, I had to come back to France for a few months. And so I work as a waitress. It's something that I learned overseas because I didn't work as a kindergarten teacher in New Zealand.
Okay.
waitressing and doing a little bit of farming because I'm in the countryside. And also I was working for the mail delivery as well. And then I started to travel again in February.
So you mean you
And
weren't maybe super motivated by your job working for the National Post Office?
no. But it was just a temporary work, and I just wanted to save money to travel more. And the project was to go to South America for 6 months at least. And I left in February, but with the situation, I had to come back in March because we were not able to travel more, and the government asked us to come back to France. So now I spend more time in quarantine than in South America. But it's like this. I will travel more next time, and it's not a
So
problem.
so you have had to, so you packed your bags, saved your money, did all of that work, got on the plane, got to Chile, and came
Yeah,
home 1 month later.
yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I can imagine what you're feeling, and I'm sure we're going to explore that. As my students too said, okay, we're going for graduation, and then found themselves in quarantine like you from one day to the next. Thank
Yeah,
you, Charlotte, for that. And I can see that, yes, you've changed a lot, and that is really
but
exciting
not
too.
mine.
And you must have changed your love for English too.
Oh yeah, but I quite like English when I was student. Yeah.
Ah, okay. I'm learning things. Okay, cool. Thank you. Let's jump now to the other Charlotte, Charlotte Fangulien.
Hey,
Hi, we're excited to have you. And you know Angers, so I remember you as quite a people person. A lot of friends, boys and girls alike, always surrounded by a group of friends. And also, you seem to really love your teachers. Just really wanting to be, getting your work done, a people person. So,
just in
did you go
English, I
into a
guess.
job? Sorry?
Just in English, I guess.
Oh, maybe you weren't like that with everybody. So do you do a job that brings you closer to people? Do you still have a network of friends that you're close with? Have you changed, and what have you done since?
Well, so when I was at NDB, Lycée Notre-Dame de Boulogne, I did a concours to go to a school named ESCA, which
Mm-hmm.
is based in Boulogne and in Angers. So I started in Boulogne for obvious reasons, because I was already living in Boulogne. And so I studied there, and I went to 2 exchanges actually. The first one was in Uruguay. So I spent 6 months in Uruguay. And the other 1 year later was in Shanghai. So I spent
Shanghai?
6 months in Shanghai, yeah, in China. And so, yeah, I studied 5 years in total in ESCA with 2 semesters of exchanges.
And can you
And
explain a little bit what ESCA is? What kind of degree is it?
so basically, it's a school of business and management. I did a master in international business because I was super interested in international travels and stuff. So
International business? That sounds
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, but that's like not a real degree, and in the same time it's a degree. Like, it's a bit weird. It's not a finance or like a real job that you're learning. It's more like classes of everything. But it's super interesting. And so then I did an internship in a company named Publicis in Paris. And so now I'm working at Publicis. It has been 2 years now. So yep, I'm happy.
And are you working in the sector of business management and international, or?
Yeah, actually, I'm working for the brand Nescafe. and
I don't
I'm
know
doing
it.
so. And I'm working like I'm doing brand strategy and advertising for them. So it's super interesting because we're working with Nestlé's headquarter in Switzerland, and so we are doing like the global strategy for the brand. So it's super interesting and super international. So I'm happy.
Now, Charlotte, just a quick question for you. Are you using the skills we learned when we made our anti-obesity campaigns? Do you remember our campaign project?
Wow, yeah, I remember that. And I remember as well the trial we did.
The trial we did. I remember your anti-obesity campaign. You made a commercial. I remember
Oh,
Victoria's
yeah.
too. She did hers with a tennis racket to show how sporty you can be. And I think you did yours with the fat bodysuit coming out of the metro in Paris that you put on one of the boys in the class.
Oh, yeah, it was Matthias.
Okay. So yeah, we
Yeah, I
studied
remember
ad
that.
campaigns. And I
Yes.
remember when we worked on ad campaigns with you guys, I remember saying to myself, oh, I'll teach them what sex appeal is. Do you remember we worked on sex appeal?
Yeah.
That was the worst mistake of my life when you guys showed me the ads that you found. Okay, great. So it's great to know that you're working in marketing, and that is really exciting. Well, I can't wait to hear more about it. We're going to go now to Victoria, who
Yeah.
has taken a different path from her fellow colleagues at Lycée Notre-Dame de Boulogne. Tell us about it, Victoria. Oh, let me tell you what I remember from you. So yes, sporty Spice of the Spice Girls. Very sporty, athletic, very studious, but always that smile, high energy, and that's what I remember about you in class. Are you still the same?
Yeah, I think I'm still the same, really expressive. Like, this kind of project, really, I really like it to interact with people. I think I'm the outsider of the band because I did like health studies. But before beginning a dentist, because I'm a dentist right now,
He's a
I
dentist. Can you believe it? I know a dentist now. That's so exciting.
yeah, but I went to a lot of failure, so I'm gonna tell you after, but who make me be what I am today. So I think it's really interesting to talk about.
Yeah. Before centering in on your failures, which I know we're all excited to share our failures, like my ad campaign project. We're all excited to share our failures, and that's one of the biggest parts of this project, is to say there is no failure.
Yeah.
That all of the experiences, what you go through, you grow through.
Yeah.
And so that's really
Exactly.
important. Victoria,
Mhm.
can you tell us a little bit about where you went? Because this
Okay.
is an exciting part of your path.
Yes. Since I was young, I really like to travel. My father is a Chinese resident. He's living in Hong Kong since I am 10 years old. My mom is Spanish, so I'm half Spanish, half French. And I began my studies with a lot of melting pot, So I used to travel a lot. So as Mathilde said, I travel a lot to China, to America. I made a lot of summer camp to practice English. Now I forget a lot, but because as a dentist, you don't speak a lot English, huh? So
You don't use it?
sometimes, but no. And so I tried medicine in France after doing Lycée Notre-Dame de Boulogne. And I failed it, but I was really close, so I was a little bit, with a lot of disappointment. And during this year, I did a lot of things who helped me to recognize that I can do other things and can succeed in other things, that there's a lot of things in which you can succeed. And when I finished, I tried medicine. And during this year, when I failed, I went to do a lot of interviews in business school. And also in journalist school. I went to a lot of city in Spain to pass interviews for business school because I was certain that healthcare wasn't good for me because I failed in medicine. So I was like, no, it's bad for me. I have to do a business school, and I like it. So I made the UCAS, to integrate a business school in England. So I was accepted to King's College. I made in Barcelona, maybe girls know it because they are in business school, SAD. The interview, I was accepted also. But at the end, I made also my IELTS. I passed my IELTS. And at the end of this year, so I was still in healthcare, in my mind. I want to be a dentist. It's my dream. I want to do it. So I packed my suitcase and I leave to Spain to do and to go to an university. It's the same like in Belgium. Maybe you know it, some of the students, because there are a lot of documentary. It's like Romania, Belgium. It's the same. So it's it helps you to study medicine abroad. So I
And
went to
and when you say it's the same as Belgium or Romania, it's because it allows you to gain those experiences without having the bar that says you cannot pass.
Exactly. It's like you can say it's like a private school because you have to have good mark to go to the next year. It's not like in France. I know that now with the coronavirus, a lot of people are saying that this step of needs to be more because we do not have enough doctors on the other health
Professionals.
so it's a little bit of polemics right now because we know that we need to have it. So I was I was really close to this limit, so I was a really disappointment. Really good.
Yeah, like a silver medal at the Olympics kind of thing.
Yeah. But it was the best 5 years of my life. I learned so much. We traveled a lot. We were a lot of students from abroad, so there were a lot of Italian, French, from Asia, from America. It was really good.
And so you studied to become a dentist in Spanish?
Mm-hmm. But as my mom is Spanish, I already know Spanish language.
So it wasn't that difficult linguistically?
It was exactly the same. I'm better in Spanish than in English. For me, it's like for you to talk in English.
Yeah, it's your native language.
Yes.
Okay, so a Franco-Spanish doctor turned dentist is going to share her story. Victoria, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lucile. I remember Lucile. Yeah, I remember Lucile a little more clearly because it was a little closer. So I met Charlotte
4 years ago.
Charlotte's and Victoria in 2010, 2011. And I met Lucile in 2014, 15. Yeah, I believe. 14, so she came into First L, and Lucile came from Montgazon. And what I noticed was immediately she had no difficulty in making friends. Some of the people in the class just kind of attracted to her like a magnet, kind of like some others. And through your journal, I got to know you more, because in your journal, you were writing about the big difference between Montgazon and Saint-Aubin-la-Salle. And although we maybe aren't going to touch on all the differences between these two big schools, Lucile did come and feel, you said, right at home at Saint-Aubin-la-Salle. So what did you become? What have you been doing?
Yeah, so we met each other a few weeks ago, so you already have an update.
Yes.
But right after the bac, I spent my summer in the United States. When I was in première, we had Céline, who came from North Carolina. So she became my best friend. So I spent my summer in United States. It helped with the English, and then I studied for 3 years and a half, communication, marketing, project management. And today I'm a kind of project manager, quality officer for a remote company, a remote school.
Okay, so project manager, I'm just going to type these titles because it's interesting for the students to see what your actual title is. So project manager, you would say?
Yep.
And you worked in your degree. What did you call your degree?
It's a bachelor degree.
Okay, a bachelor's in communication?
Yep.
Okay. And so now you're working as a project manager.
Yeah, from home.
Yes.
And I'm still doing volunteer work. I started right after high school, actually. Right after my trip to United States, I started to volunteer as the head of design of international conferences, political conferences. So I was working from home, and when the conference started, I used to go to the country where it happened. So I've been traveling at the same time.
So you would travel to the country that had the conference.
Yeah,
and
Estonia, Netherlands. Yeah.
That's why we see all the pictures with you on Facebook with the different people from around the world.
Yeah, exactly. I made a lot of friends abroad.
Okay. Now what's interesting about Lucile's experience here is that she did her degree on the computer, right? Distance learning.
Yep.
She's working distance learning, and she does all of her projects distance learning. So when COVID-19 came, you were like, what's COVID-19?
I just realized that I was in isolation for more than a year already.
In isolation for more than a year, and yet you two are such a people person. You're gonna have to share your techniques.
I don't know if I have a technique.
No, you have managed to keep in touch with everybody and manage your work life, your home life.
Yeah, thanks to Facebook, thanks to a lot of online tools. I can keep in touch with all of my friends abroad, and I can work from home pretty easily. So
great. Okay, let's start on the questions. Remember that the students can ask questions via the chat, or you can ask questions via the screens. So I want to go to perhaps my first question for you, and anybody can answer really. My students are wondering, well, what they've expressed is that they're wondering, how do you become actually more independent? The question that I'm going to ask specifically maybe is, what do you have to do to gain that independence when you leave high school? Remember, put yourselves back there, terminale. You were in terminale, living with your parents. What steps do you think are necessary to get to that next step, which is for them September, and they're going into the unknown? They don't know where they're going. They don't know what they're doing, what they're going to do. Do you have any tips for how to get them to that next step? Or maybe share some of your experience, what was easy, what was hard?
who wants to answer?
Yeah, who wants to go first?
I can go first if you want.
Sure.
I really believe independence is coming with experience in general. I mean, you learn from experiences, so it depends on the people you meet, the places you go, on the school you go. So yeah, independence will come with all of those experiences, like learning how to deal with people, learning how to deal with your own problem, like kind of adult problem.
Can you tell me some of those problems?
Les impôts.
I'm not going to define that. Yeah, the déclaration d'impôt, for example. Yeah, I had to call my dad.
You had to call your dad for that?
Yeah. Luckily, I started with a work-study contract when I was 18. So I was working in Paris and studying in Angers in the same week for a year and a half. So I already had my financial independence, kind of.
Do you think that financial independence is necessary to have independence?
It helped.
Yeah, a lot.
And how did you gain financial independence? How did you make the money?
Personally, I make the money because I had this work-study contract. So I was a marketing assistant in Paris on Monday and Tuesday, and a student in communication in Angers for the rest of the week. So, and I did some babysitting a lot to be able to travel, to see my friends, to go to those political conferences, etc.
So because you were a volunteer, you had to pay out of pocket? You had to pay for your tickets and that kind of thing?
A part of the tickets, yeah.
Okay. And Victoria, how did you learn to finance that huge project to go to Spain?
Definitely, I go to the bank first to tell a man that I want to do this project. I think everybody know when you're beginning studies, you telling your project to someone in the bank, and they give you a credit that you will after how we say rembourser?
Reimburse
When you're beginning the social work. So I'm beginning since 6 months to beginning to reimburse my credits.
Now, I know that all of my friends and family have $60,000 of debt, $200,000 of debt, and this debt is kind of heavy, a heavy pressure.
Yeah.
But I noticed that in France, people are even more scared of banks, of debt, of taking on a loan. Were you scared?
I wasn't so scared because I know that my work that I will do it will help me to reimburse. You say
Reimburse, yeah.
My credits, but with time, obviously, like in any job. But I wasn't scared also because I have really understanding parents who always push me to do what I want and to realize my dreams. So it wasn't so scared for me. And sometimes I say, okay, I have 10 years left. Okay, 10 left yet, but so I think for studies, it's not something bad, a bad credit, but because I know I will reimburse it, obviously, with the time.
You're not buying a BMW.
Yeah, and this year I'm doing it little by little because as I'm working 3 days per week and studying 2 days a week, I'm studying in Lyon. So I'm taking the train each Tuesday to go to Lyon to do a master degree in oral surgery. So obviously I can't reimburse more quickly, but in 2 years I will
You're
be
patient.
Yeah, so it's okay. I have a lot of friends who did it, so it's I know in the United States it's usual to do this. I met a lot of people who taking a big credits in bank to make their studies. So
yeah, no, I wanted to know how you felt. I also saw that Tiffany joined us. You found us?
Yes.
No
Hello.
stress, huh? No stress, huh? We're here.
Yes, I see.
How are
Great.
you?
Fine. I'm great. I'm done working through this morning, so it's okay.
So
I'm busy. I'm here with you for at least 1 hour, I hope.
Perfect.
Because I have my kids around, so.
Perfect. Well, Tiffany, when you contacted me, I was so excited because when I met you, I knew that you had always loved English and Italian. And I know that the students in my class in TL love Italian. I'm thinking about Anna, who loves Italian. I'm thinking about, oh, there's a lot. There's a lot of students who love Italian. So I was happy to have you on, because then you can share your experience of what you did. And I want you to project yourself back to LEA. You just finished your baccalaureate and you decided to go to Nantes. LEA, you said, this is where I'm going. Was it a good choice? Were you scared? How did you handle it? And what have you become today?
So it's been 14 years now.
14 years, yeah.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. I decided so to go to the university and study Italian and English because years ago I wanted to wake up every morning speaking Italian. So I said this is the perfect place for me. Few hours, like 20 hours per week, so it was okay. I still lived with my father, was Villedieu-la-Blouère. I don't know if someone knows where it is. And every day I took my car and go to the university. It was crazy because the schedule was never the same, so it was a little bit mess at the beginning, but
Nothing
it was okay.
has changed. Nothing has
Okay.
changed.
So it was okay, and the first year was very complicated because I saw that the level was very high. I thought it was very high for me. The difference between the high school and the university is you are more independent at the university. You have to find things and do things on your own. You have not a lot of help, I think. I remember. And but it was okay. So I redo my first year because
So
the
you did
exam
LOA, you did LOA of one first year, and then did you validate any of your LOA, or you had to do it all again?
No. I decided to redo the first year, and between the first year and the
second
year,
first year.
yeah, I decided to go as an au pair, a babysitter, in Italy for 3 months.
I remember this.
Oh, you remember? Okay. And it was perfect for me because I learned a lot of Italian people, Italian culture, and other people. You met a lot of people, so it was crazy. It was my best year, I think.
Do I not remember you telling me about how it was kind of like a dream? Wasn't there like ocean or swimming pool or something?
Yes. That's true. Yes, big house. I have on my own part of the house.
Yeah, you had like a big apartment in the house and a swimming pool.
Yes,
and
like a penthouse. Yes, crazy with a big swimming pool. It was, and a lot of parties.
I remember
during the
that.
weekend. Yes, barbecue, apéro, and so on. It was crazy. And yes.
And you did that for 1 year?
First year I was in Rome. The second one I was in Aosta. The third I was in Turin. And I went in Turin for 3 or 4 times for each holidays when I was at the university. Yeah.
So did you learn to speak Italian fluently there?
Yes, obviously, yeah. And I let English apart because at the third year at the university you only speak Italian. You choose one language, and I choose Italian, obviously. I take my exam, and I just was graduated in July, 10 years ago. And 10 days after I passed my exam, I had an opportunity in Cholet to work.
In Cholet.
Yeah, in Cholet, yes.
And so you were like, I'm going.
Yes, I said, why not? Why not? It was a 6 months contract, so I said, why not? And you only just have to speak Italian fluently and a little bit of English. So I said, why not? So I went, and it's been 10 years now.
You work in the same company?
Yes, so I'm now a collector agent.
In French, what do you call a collection agent?
Chargé de recouvrement.
I think it's a good person to know.
So I'm working.
We were talking about bank loans earlier.
Yes, that's what I heard before.
You were like, did I hear bank loan?
Yes, I saw. So I'm working like as a collection agent now, more in Italy. I have 2,000 files in Italy. Yes, it's crazy, and I have and I'm working worldwide.
So you've got to go find the money.
Yes, through my phone. So 2 hours ago, I was in Dubai, and
do you use the same voice, or do you use your?
I changed my accent. I changed my accent because it's not the same. Prestige card, this is different. You know, you have to change the way you speak. Like
yeah, show
Chinese
me the
people.
money. Show me the money.
Yes, I have to change my speech, obviously. And so it's been 10 years now. I'm now in charge of a team of 8 people. We have 2 girls who speak Spanish, 2 German, 1 Netherlands, Dutch.
German?
And
Dutch,
German. Dutch, yes, Dutch. And I'm the only one speaking Italian. After that, we have assistants. But the funny part is that 10 years ago, my manager, who speaks English because she was married to an English man. So
I see the smile.
Yeah, I met her son, and it's now my husband. So my manager is my mother-in-law.
Your manager is your mother-in-law.
Yes.
How is Christmas dinner?
Perfect. She's lovely. She's okay. She's very
So she said, Tiffany, come here. I have somebody I want you to meet. And you were like,
no.
Love at first sight.
Actually, she asked us to come to have lunch at her house. So we said, okay, with all team. We went and I saw a picture of her 2 sons. And I said, oh, who is the youngest? I don't met him before. I'm not sure. And I talked to my assistant because my assistant is with the first son of my manager.
This sounds like a company that is could be on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like real world.
It's Dallas. In our company, it's Dallas. Lots of love and couple and family stuff. Yes, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So you got married to her son, and he's British?
And he's half British because his father was English. He passed away 3 years ago. But
he's still British.
He was living in London. So I have a part of my family who's living now in UK. So I went every year. I tried because last year I was pregnant, so I couldn't. And this year with the COVID, it was a little bit complicated.
So between Brexit and COVID, you're not going back to UK for a while.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, it will be complicated because the great grandmother wants to see us, and it's complicated now because she's 80, 85. So with social media, it's complicated too because she has no Facebook account, she has no Twitter account, no Instagram, no nothing. So it's a little bit mess, but it's okay.
Yeah.
So that's why my name is now English, Williamson. Crazy life, crazy story, I know.
Crazy life and a crazy story, but we're so happy to have you on to tell us about it. And lessons in love, everybody needs to share and give. That is just the theme of every day of everyone's life. Do you notice a theme that you guys all have in common is this international angle? That is really crazy. And I don't know if my students expect to have such an international life. I know some of them want it and probably want to know how to get it. Can I bring you to another question, which would be, which like kind of difficult jumps you had to make when you had to kind of close your eyes and say, okay, I'm going for it. We know Victoria had to go to Spain, but Charlotte, was it easy to say, okay, I did the concours pour être éducatrice de jeunes enfants. Now I'm going to just pack up and leave. So my question is, what difficult choices did you have to make?
Actually, it was, I wanted to travel so much since so many years, and each year there is like, you have the baccalaureate, next year you have like some work to do for your diploma, and then you have the thesis, and then you're like, okay, so every year I wanted to leave to go in another country because with my study I was not able to study abroad, which I really wanted. And so after my degree, during my last year, I had an opportunity for work, a really good one. And so I was like, I really want to leave, but there is a good work. So I took the work, and then when I was working, I was like, yeah, my friends were going abroad for studies. Some friends were quitting their job to travel. And so I was like, I want so much to travel, and everybody is leaving and I'm still here in France. Mm-hmm. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna do everything to travel and to quit my job. And it was not an easy decision to take because there is, I would say, the weight of the society, which says, oh, you need to have work, you need to work in France to save money for your life after, for your when you will be old, for your retreat and everything. And you're like, yeah, I know everything of this. I studied for like 3-4 years and I really want to go away. And so I said, okay, I will leave. And then it's not easy for people around you to understand this. And
how did your parents react to your decision?
My parents, it was okay. They were surprised and they were happy for me because they were like, do what you want and what makes you happy, and you want so much to live, so you need to live too. But it's more the big family, you know, the grandfather, grandmother, the uncle, the aunt, and they are like a bit worried. They are a bit like, you should work, you should do another work and work better and everything. And you're like, yeah, no, it's confirmed that I really want to leave. And so, yeah, I left like this, and I'm really happy that I make this step, because otherwise I think I will not be like I am now, and I will not be traveling and everything. So yeah, it was a good choice a few years ago.
Do any of the other guests, do you feel that you were stuck between a rock and a hard place, that you had to make a decision that maybe people around you wouldn't understand?
I did, if I can answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had the chance to start with making small steps. Started to travel to the United States with my best friend, so I was not alone, even though I was 17. And then I started to work remotely for international events. So I had international friends, and I had to go there a week or two a year. So it was pretty easy to my parents to accept that. But still,
Yeah,
it was a decision to
that you
to
had
valid.
to use arguments for, I'm sure.
Yep. Yeah, I was young, so.
Yeah. And Tiffany, when you decided to move to Italy, were you supported in that decision by your father, your friends, or were you seen as just crazy?
No, actually, it was okay. My parents always pushed me to do what I loved, and they knew that when you have to learn something, the best way, well, obviously in that case, one language, you have to go there and learn about it. And if you're not in the country, I can't say that you can be fluent. You have to learn not only the words and the way, but you have to learn the way they live to understand. And it's helping me actually when I'm doing my job, because I know how I can act with Italian people when I'm through my phone, but I know how I can speak to them, because Italian people are different, are French people as French people. So, and my parents always push me to do that, and they buy me only the flight tickets, and after that I have to do on my own and to find the family, and they always trust me because they never speak Italian. So they said, we trust you. If you think it's the good family for you, go there. Just call us when you arrive, because it was like 15 years ago, so it was not the same as today.
The telephone didn't even exist, I'm sure.
Yeah, you have to pay a lot when you passed a phone call in Italy. So they said, okay, just phone us, call us when you arrive, and see you in 3 months. It's okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, I think that's always exciting, but I do think that there's a difference between parents who sometimes parents say, yes, do your dream job, do what makes you happy. That's what they say. But then they give you that look, like, are you sure? Are you sure? There's sometimes how they act and what they say are sometimes make the decision hard. Charlotte Fondulien, I have a question for you.
Yeah, tell me.
I heard that, Charlotte's saying she followed her dream, Victoria followed her dream, Tiffany followed her dream, Lucile, she's following her dream. Did you follow your dream?
I followed my path.
Are you satisfied with what you chose, with what you did?
Yeah, but I mean, right now I think I need some change in my life. Maybe I'll go abroad, because I really want to go abroad another time. Actually, for the last question, for the support and stuff question, like I think the hardest decision I made was to decide to go to my business school, because I didn't have any idea of what I wanted to do. And like earlier in high school, I wanted to do medicine, so I was super focused in this, and I had really bad grades in physics and math. So obviously it was not a really good path for me to do medicine, but I think I regret not to have tried. So the decision I made to do a business school was like, okay, I don't really know what I want to do, so I'll do that. It's super international. I love languages. I love to study languages, so great, I'll do this. And I'm super happy about this. I had like amazing experiences. I traveled a lot, and now I have a job that I like. But maybe I'll change some stuff in the next year.
Yeah, maybe after this conversation, you're going to start to want
Yeah,
to travel
I think I'll
again.
quit my job like like the other Charlotte, and just like go abroad and see what's happening over there after COVID, obviously.
Do you feel that pressure? I mean, I'm wondering if some of the students in Talminan, maybe I can ask you the question. Do you feel the pressure to have a serious job next year at work, to be serious, or do you feel like you can take the time if you want to do a gap year, or do you feel that you're in control of your situation, of what you want to do, or do you feel pressure?
I guess now I can do what I want because like I've saved a bit of money and I've worked now for 2 years. So I know that I can do it. I know that I can be independent. But I mean, I wanted to do that right after maybe high school or take a gap year during my college. But I guess that my parents wouldn't have been happy because of, I think my dad is one of those dad that is not happy about anything and just want the best for his kids. So obviously when I said, oh, I'm going to do a business school, he said like, oh no, please don't. And then like I choose my business school and I said, oh, this one is great. And he said like, oh no, I don't like it for you. And so obviously like you feel pressure from everywhere, but I think you need to choose whatever it makes you feel happy and makes you proud of what you want to do.
How did your dad react when you said you were going to Uruguay?
He laughed. Because I really wanted to learn Spanish because in my university you end your master with quite a good level in English. So I wanted to have like a second language.
Plus Spanish is like cool, sexy, fun.
Yeah, I love this language, honestly.
So cool.
And so I really wanted to have this second language. So I wanted to go to Argentina, but the game made me choose Uruguay because there wasn't enough space in our partner university over there. So I went to Uruguay, which is super close from Argentina, and it's quite the same culture. So I choose that. And
isn't it beautiful?
It's amazing. It was the best 6 months of my life, I think.
The best 6 months of your life in Uruguay. I can't even imagine. You guys are going to have to Google Uruguay later, or maybe Charlotte's pictures, but it looks just amazing. And were the people nice?
Yeah, the people are the nicest people in the world, I think. Well, I don't know. I've not been in every country of the world, but like, I mean, they are super welcoming. They are super interested in you because you choose Uruguay. So even for them, it's a weird choice. And so, yeah, they're super welcoming. And I mean, they have a really nice culture that is not really far away from ours. And so this is a nice first step, I think, if you want to go to a foreign country, to go in a Latino country, because it's quite the same way than we live here. And then with China, this is like a real cultural shock.
I can't even imagine. Charlotte, what was Chile like?
Actually, I was supposed to be in Uruguay at this time of the year, so I'm a bit jealous.
For you.
It was really nice, but I didn't have enough time. I spent only 1 month. You know, you arrive, and when it's a big travel for like 6 months, 1 year, you take time. You take like more time in the big cities. It's not like you spend 2 weeks in Chile, so you need to go in every big cities, every park and everything. So I spent some time in Santiago, in Valparaiso, and I've done woofing as well in Chile, in a wine factory, because they have good wine. And
I
it was
think they
really
have the Malbec grapes there, don't they?
no, Carmenere. It's
A Carmenere.
the one that only grow for now in Chile. It's French grapes, but with the phylloxera in France, it disappeared, and in Chile, it's really nice, and it's a big wine and really nice
So
wine.
you can go woofing and work on a farm and pick salad, or go and work in a wine factory. I think I know my choice.
Actually, you can go in. It's not only farm as the real word farm. It can be also some project around eco-construction, eco-projects, and everything around nature and without pesticide and everything. In the theory, because in reality it's a little bit different. But yeah, still it's a good experience.
Yeah.
And it was Chile. You don't have a big gap as you can have in Asia, for example, because Chile, it's maybe the more developed country in South America, and it's near. It's near from the U.S.
Yeah, so there's a little influence of the Americas.
And there is an history with U.S. and everything. So it's really like in Europe, kind of, when you are in big cities. And when you go in the countryside, I could say it still can, like in France. It's
Feels
but
like
the difference is more the landscapes, because you have beautiful mountains in Chile, and you're not so far from the mountains when you are on the coast. And there's beautiful landscapes, but I haven't been entirely to the south, which was the project to go to Patagonia. Still a lot to see in Chile.
I have a question for all of you. It's a question that I love thinking about, and it's, when you travel, what do you learn about your own country, and what do you learn about yourself? Like, what does, like, when Victoria, when you went to Spain, how did that just show you how French you are, kind of thing? And what are the characteristics of France, you know?
It's funny because in Spain, they think that we always, how do you say, se plaindre.
Complaining.
Yeah, that's.
Is it true? Is it true? Do French complain?
No.
In Spain, but also in America, they always told me, "Oh, you're French, so you're always complaining yourself." So I say, no.
Everywhere.
Well, Spanish, maybe this is why, but they say the first thing is this, that we are not so smiling. We are not smiling. We are really romantic. What they say? That we are always running for the time, for the work, for everything.
You always have a watch.
Yeah.
Every French have a watch.
Yeah, they say you have the watch,
French.
you have the time. So, and it's the first thing they told me when I arrived in Spain. And we are a little bit, when we meet someone, we are a little bit introvert. Like a little bit shy.
And also, I want to add to what you said earlier. It's that you almost got the concours in France. And I think that in France, one of the big differences that I feel is the level of demand. The French are kind of, with this idea of concours. I was the director of the Concours de Master MEF, for 5 years. And this level, this just level, you have to push for it and keep the pressure up, and the concours. And that I never felt in my bachelor's in the United States. And I feel that maybe in Spain or in Uruguay or in Thailand, you just don't have that same level of exigence, demand. Did you notice that too?
Yeah.
And I think
In
there's
New Zealand, I realized this a lot. It was really they don't really care about your degree. It's more about experiences that you have in your life. It's more what make you and what made you like you are, and it's not your diploma or whatever that can help you to have a job or whatever. And it's also they give you the chance more than in France for me.
In France, maybe more. Tu as eu le concours, tu l'as pas eu, tu l'as loupé, you know, that those kind of questions. Charlotte, what were you going to say in response?
I think there is maybe this is changing right now, but I guess that in France we have the mindset like you're starting, you just have your bac, so you just had your bac, so you need to do like 2 years of prepa or I don't know, whatever university for 5 years, and then you will need to work. And so at like, I don't know, 23, you will be like in the working
class,
sector,
working class.
And I think this is super wrong because you put on yourself a lot of pressure, and you have the time to study. And I've been studying at the university in Uruguay. And for example, there was some people who were like 30 years old that were studying with me. And I was like, oh my God, I'm super young. And like, yeah, really. And everybody was like taking their time in like studying what they really like and taking their time to do their degree. Like some of them were taking a lot of time, but like for us, it's like super chronometré. And I think in the other countries all over the world, like people are just like studying what they like and working at the same time, and it's more flexible than we can live it in France.
Yeah. Tiffany, did you feel that when you came to LEA? Did you feel like, oh my gosh, where am I? What am I doing? This is so hard.
Yes, because the first year you never know what will you do after. So I say, why not? First year, wait and see. And I loved it. So I said, I redo my first year. Perfect time. And after that, I let myself growing. I said, every year was different. I met other people. I met you. And I saw the teachers at the university are different from high school.
Oh yes.
We are closer. Close. I remember when I was with you, we went in a bar. I don't know if you remember.
We went to a bar. That sounds interesting. Yes, I remember.
You remember, and I remember I don't know if you remember the Russian teacher, Emmanuel.
Yes.
We went smoking together. It was crazy. Like, you know, the relationship with teachers are different.
Yes.
And I like that. I like the way we talked. You can say tu or vous, obviously, but it's different. They are not looking at you like a child, you know?
It's almost like, and that I think with time too, because when you're in licence 1 is harder than licence 2, and then licence 3, you have the survivors. Licence 3, my classes are only with the survivors. They're with the people who qui s'accrochent, you know, who really hold on.
In L3 we were 4, I think.
4.
Only 4, yes. And
Yeah.
one was off in Italy for Erasmus, so we were only 3. And I remember that I had class only with my one teacher. So it was crazy because that's never happened in high school.
Yeah.
And in fact, in France, you have to follow a schedule. You have to take pass your bac. After the bac, you go to university, and you only have to work at 25 or 26. But it could happen before, or it could happen after. I have a friend. So I'm 32, almost 33. I have a friend. She's trying to pass the concours des enseignants since 5 years. She started at 28.
Mm-hmm.
She never take the exam, but she's working like as a teacher now for children. But she has no concours, so she can't do what.
Yeah, she's
But
blocked.
she has the knowledge of teaching children, but the state, l'État, doesn't recognize it. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of students who take the exam, the concours, have no skills maybe to be in front of
A
children
class.
and make them learn something. I don't know, it's crazy. In France,
Yes.
it's crazy.
Yes.
I don't know why.
Teaching, well, in France, we have a huge problem with the difference between theory and practice. And practice, I don't know in medicine if it's really integrated, if you can do practice and school. Did you do that, Victoria, when you were a dentist? Get both sides?
On your third year, you begin the clinic. So you have theory, so the class, and the clinic, because dentist is more of practice. It's not only theory. So we begin like 1 day a week to do a clinic and work on patients who knows obviously that you are a student. So that with professor who was looking for you. And the second year, second year, we have to begin like that. The fourth year also, on the fifth year, it's mainly clinics.
Okay.
No more class, because we are know almost everything.
I think the question of experience and gaining experience is so important. And just working on little things, Lucile working on volunteer work and getting experience. My CV is like 3 pages long because I worked as a translator, and you guys can write this down. I mean, this is the way to make money. You can be a translator, you can be a babysitter, you can be a fille pair, you can offer to help companies speak English. You can even meet with people and speak English, tutor their kids. You can use English as a tool to make money. That is what's cool about it. And everybody needs it. And having that extra money, isn't it Karl Lagerfeld who says money is freedom? That's his freedom. L'argent, c'est ma liberté. That by making money, you make your choices of where you want to go and what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I think that coming back to one of the stereotypes about the French, when I met my first boyfriend, he said, "Mais il est où ton livret A?" And I was like, "Livret A?" And he's like, "Your savings account." And I was like, "Ah, non, je n'ai pas de compte d'épargne." You know, like I had like cash in my pocket, you know? And he said, and I said, "What about your livret A?" And he was like, "Bah, j'ai un livret compte épargne, j'ai un livret A, j'ai un livret un compte logement, j'ai un livret vie, assurance vie." And he had like 5 savings accounts, and he put $10 in this one, $12 in this one, $13. And Americans live, they make the money, then they spend the money. They make the money, they spend the money. But the advantage of that system, I'm not saying there's many advantages, but I am not afraid to say, I'm going to go to France. I'll find a job. I'm okay. I don't need to have $1,000 savings. I need to have $100 savings maybe. And I think that that mentality of thinking, I can make it, I can do this, I will, that is not particularly French, because you say,
No, it's not.
will it be a CDI? Will it be a CDD? Will I find a job? Est-ce que je dois trouver un travail avant d'y aller? You know, and I think that the leap of faith comes more with the American culture, where you can find a job quickly. But I think each of you in TL should make your CV, have it ready for this summer, get some babysitting jobs, go shuck corn. I don't know what you're going to do, but I think the economic factor is important.
Mhm.
I'm going to leave the chat open to any of the students who might have questions, particular questions for any of you. It's the time to ask them. If you have any questions, don't be shy. Okay, that means, okay, could you explain a little bit more about the IELTS? So that question's for Victoria.
Yeah. So basically, the IELTS, there is IELTS and there is also TOEFL. English exam who helps you to integrate a school on TOEFL, yes. It's an English exam who helps you to integrate a school in America, in UK. Basically, IELTS is more for UK school, and TOEFL more for America, but it depends. And it's like a grade. So if you in each UK university, they ask you to have a minimum of mark. So you have one test of speaking, one test of listening, one test of writing, and one test of reading. And you will have a mark for each test. And at the end, they're gonna put
like a score.
Yeah, a score. And like, for example, in King's College, they asked me to have 6 on 9 on speaking, like 8 on 9 on reading, on writing. So the exam you will need, obviously, to pass if you want to integrate a UK school or do the CAS. I don't know if your student knows the CAS. CAS on CAS is like here it's what is the website you put your grades here in France now? It's another name. Okay, before it was another name.
Okay.
So
APB.
APB.
Yeah. Oh la la. APB. Yeah.
APB, but I was like, I think I'm really vieille.
Yeah.
So Parcoursup. So CAS is like Parcoursup in UK. So you put lettre motivation letter, your grad in IELTS, and a letter from your English teacher, and it's help a French student to go to this university.
I hope that answers your question, Thomas. Thomas is a student in first right now in spécialité, but I think Thomas could do anything. He's like one of those stem cells that could become anything, you know? You could become a liver cell, or you could become a brain cell, or a skin cell. Thomas could do anything, and I'm sure he's taking all the information right now to make his decision. Victoria, I have a question for you. It's just because I'm dying to know. So you said dentist is a dream. Okay, I know dentist saves lives for any of you who've ever had dental pain or tooth. How did that idea come to you? And is the job what you imagined? So is the representation of like dentist? Because I'm imagining like an old guy who's 60, like, you know, with his tools, like, and his mask. And then Victoria's like, I'm going to make dentist cool and fun. You know, is the representation was it the same as what you had imagined?
Yeah, actually, it's the same. I always know that I want to be in health science. I want to study with to work with child.
Mm-hmm.
So at the beginning, I was hesitating between pediatric, so medicine, but in pediatric,
Mm-hmm.
and dentist. But obviously, as I didn't add medicine in France, I began to think, and I saw this university in dentistry. So, but it's pretty fun of work because you have a lot of specialization,
Fun.
a lot of specialization, and what I like to do is to help people because a lot of people are scared of dentists. It's
Oh, hate them. Hate them.
yeah. Right. The first thing my patients say when they are sitting on the seats, they say, "I hate you. I hate you. I'm afraid of you." And I always say, "You know what? I'm afraid of you also." And they begin to lose. So my job is to make people smile again because there are a lot of people who are really scared of their smile because it's not so beautiful. It's not. And now with the magazine and the people, everyone has a perfect smile on Instagram. Everyone has a perfect smile. So everyone wants perfect smile, and to make it happen for someone, it's pretty cool. So
That is cool. Now, Victoria, does everybody look at your teeth? Because I know that sometimes, they're like, does the
always,
dentist have good teeth? That's like one of the criteria.
when I say I'm a dentist, they always look at my teeth immediately.
Yeah, and Tiffany, when you say you're a collection agent, how do people react?
Oh, so you have, they say that I'm the bad guy also
How
because
are
I'm
you the
asking for
bad
money.
guy? How are you the bad guy? Do you have a job that is do you think,
Yeah, but
aligned
the
with your
media,
values and your personality?
yes, but the media gave us a bad image of our work, and so you are seizing money on my account. You will you will send me the bailiff. He will take my money, and obviously my job is not to do that. We have to find an amicable solution and help them to pay their bill. And I have funny stories because once a debtor, she has to pay 10,000 euros almost. She was the owner of a shop of shoes, great shoes. And
I see where this story is going.
once she paid the entire debt, she sent me some shoes. Yes, and I saw in Sarenza that the shoes was 500 euros. So she sent me that gift to thank me, to help her to pay the debt, is her debt.
So that story kind of shows the human side
Yes.
of,
Yes.
yeah. And even though you're doing a kind of financial, the bad guy, financial police, you still get a human side of things.
Yes. And in particularly now, with the coronavirus and so on, lots of stores are closed in Italy, in UK, in America, worldwide, and
It's
I'm trying
going to be
2 months ago, it was complicated for me to call them and to say, we have to find a solution to pay your debt and so on. But now I understand the situation. So the stores in Italy are reopening, and I said, so okay, for this month you don't have to pay, but you can start again, restart paying next month in June. I will contact you in a couple of weeks, and we'll talk about the situation, if it has changed or not. And but it's fun because they want to pay. Yes, but they want to pay, but they can't. But this is not about cash flow. It's about the situation in the world now.
Yeah.
But business is very hard.
Do you have a T-shirt that says "De bons comptes font de bons amis"?
No.
And then on the back,
No.
like, "Payback or I'll find you."
No, I have scary sentence, scary speech, obviously, because I can also make legal procedure. I can seize your account, but I don't want to do that first. I hate when debtors are never replying me, never send me a reply, never told me why they can't pay.
Yeah, it seems like a communication job.
Sorry?
It seems like a communication job.
Yes, I passed 60 phone calls per day, more or less. 60 phone calls per day, more or less.
Wow. Do you have any other questions, my students, for our guests today about how they managed? Joanie, I know that you wanted to work with children. Did you find something to do for next year? Do you know what you're going to do, Joanie? I'm going to put her on the spot. Maybe she didn't hear. Charlotte, do you think you're going to go back to working with children? Now that you love farm work so much?
No, but you know, I love to do so many things, and I know that I can do so many things. It's a hard question because where I'm living now, it's difficult to find a work with kids in southwest of France. It's really rural, so it's more maybe homeschooling sometimes, or kids because kindergarten teacher is for kids from 0 to 6, so until 6 kids stay at home, more or less, and there is not a lot of daycare or structure to welcome the kids. And so if there is some workplaces, there is no work for me because there is already some person who work there. So it's really hard, and I don't know, because I know what is the demand, what my job demand. I mean, like what I have to do when I work and the time that I need to spend for this. And if I take a job, more of the time is a CDI, and you need to imply yourself in your work and to stay longer than 6 months or whatever. You have to continue to follow the kids for a few years and everything. And so I don't know if now I can do this and invest myself in this. And also for different reason of thinking, for now I don't want to work again with kids, but I know that if I really need to find a job, I can, and I will.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not an easy question at the moment.
No, I can imagine. Could each of you give your one final advice to our students here and our students who are going to listen to the tape recording, just advice that you wish somebody would have given you, or maybe comforting words? You can
Don't
answer in the
worry.
chat. Yeah. Charlotte, you want to start?
Yeah, I think the good advice, what I would have liked to hear at this moment, like in terminal, would have been, don't worry, you can make mistakes, and it's not a big thing at all. Like, you can start something that you don't like. I don't know, it can be law, it can be whatever career you can start, and if you don't like it, well, you can start something again. And it's not, there is no a question of time. Like, for example, when you redouble, it can be a big thing in high school and stuff. I mean, after the back, like, nobody cares how old are you and how many years you took to graduate. Nobody cares. And so you can, like, start stuff, and if you don't like it, just stop and start again, and there is nothing to worry about, I think.
That is so perfect, Charlotte, and I think I agree 100%. Who's next for their final words of advice?
I can give my final words if you want.
Okay, Lucille, I'd love to hear your final words.
I really want you to remember that the job that you're going to choose next year or in a few years is not the job of your life. You'll have different options, you'll have different opportunities, you'll meet different people, and even if you can't really imagine that right now, you'll see. And create your opportunities in general, like stay open to people, to experiences, and you'll have more and more options to choose.
I like that. Stay open. I always say people find themselves at the right place at the right time. There was a reason that Charlotte went to Uruguay. There's a reason that Charlotte had to come home from Chile. These decisions, life happens, and there's a reason Victoria went to Spain and did it all and then came back. So everything that happens to you happens for a reason, I think. Yeah. Who's next for their final advice that I'm writing down on my paper for future book?
I will continue the path of Charlotte and Lucile, is like, follow your dream and do what makes you vibrate. I would say it's at this time, and you will always have a way to come back, or to study more, or study another thing, or or to stay in a place and do your work for a few years and everything. So yeah, follow your, not your heart, but follow your dream, and follow your little ticking bee in your head.
The little voice.
Yeah.
Okay. Victoria, you've prepared so much, I know, and there's so much we didn't even get to handle your failures. I know that you wanted to talk about. I definitely don't see you as a failure. I don't think the students do either. This idea, you almost made it, but you did make it. So you cut your sound though, Victoria.
I would say first, enjoy your years, because it passed a lot. Obviously, I have a lot of years still to live, but enjoy, because time flies.
Time flies, yeah.
Yeah, and I would say don't worry, as the girls say, because there is so many ways to succeed in life. Each person has a ways to succeed and to be happy. And in HEC, School of Business Schools, they always say the sentence I sent to you, Missy: dare to fail.
Yeah, the macro vision, that if you're, and Charlotte, you might start a company one day. You might, go in. Last week we saw Maisa's working in a startup, and she wants to start her company. You might take a dive and invest your hard work and your money into a company that doesn't work, and your next company doesn't work either, but your fourth company is the one that works, So there's a lot of different, I see that often. Some students, they start one thing and you have to fail it. You have to keep failing it. I'm nervous about people who have never failed anything, because how are they going to react when times get tough, when times get difficult for the students who have never failed anything? They don't know how to survive it. So that's hard. Tiffany, are you with your son?
Yes.
Hello.
He's very curious.
I can imagine. My kids are locked out of my room. Locked out.
And I'm in the game room, so he wants to take some toys. Say hi. Bonjour.
Bonjour. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the.
So if I can think about my high school and my life now, I would say that you, like they said, you can make mistakes, and you have to do what you want, what you're in, and what you want to do. Follow your dreams, follow your life, and you can see that opportunities came, and you can change. Obviously, I didn't change job since 10 years, but I'm really passionate with my job. I learned every day, and I met a lot of people, and now I wouldn't say that I'll stay a collection agent for my entire life, but now I'm maybe thinking of leave France with my family. Why not? If I can find an opportunity in another company, I don't know. Destiny makes you what you are now. I never know when it was when I start working. I never know that I will find my husband and I will have a complete family now at 32. But I'm very glad. I'm very glad now. I'm very happy, and I don't know. Wait and see, and life goes on, and keep your dreams. Keep your dreams, and you see that life is full of issues, lots of questions, but also a lot of answers that you can find on your own.
Yeah, thank you. I definitely want my students to keep their journals. You have written your dreams in your journals, and I want you to keep those journals and keep going back to what you wanted as a young person, what you wanted in seconde première. Don't forget it. Don't forget that you had that dream one day. And I bet when we talk again in 10 years, you'll say, oh my gosh, this is crazy, but I went with something that I've always wanted to do, and I saw it in my journal, and I got up and I did it. So I think that it's important to keep a journal and to know what you've always wanted to do.
Yeah, keep it.
You got your journal.
Yeah, I have a second one now.
Necessary. I know that my students love their journal project. In Lycée Notre Dame, I didn't do the journal project with you, but my students now have journals, and some of them publish them into books, autobiographies, and some students have their journal every day. And so it's really an important tool to go back and see. My journal says, well, my journal for Terminale said, I want to go abroad and become an English teacher in France. So clearly you've seen that. I've made that happen. But I don't know about my next dreams. I'm thinking about moving. I'm thinking about a lot of different things, but it was a dream to be able to bring my former students back. One of the things we always are scared about as teachers, even though the teachers don't say it, is we always think the students are going to leave, they're going to forget us. They're going to forget all the work, the effort, and all the sharing of all those years. And I never really believed that, because I've stayed in touch and I've seen that you live and you grow. You have come back, and I really, really appreciate hearing from you and staying in touch. And it also shows my students here that you can stay in touch. We're not going to say goodbye. There is a life after, there is a continuity. Did we hear from everyone about their final words? Okay, I'm gonna go make some pizza. No, I'm gonna go take care of my kids and then do some sports. Thank you so much for coming.
You also some cooking class?